All right, so this was the whole brainstorming process and building the product and, putting up the mapping out the plan, so to speak. And, before I go any further, this is performance product, okay? This is shit that works, it functions, there's a reason for everything, everything is where it is for a reason, the function. It's not just frivolous fashion, So, I'm going to lean it towards, it's timeless product essentially. So I'm going to go into detail, kind of like how it all came about. And I started off with the colours with the wolf eyes, pretty much a no-brainer there, and then kind of from that, started migrating the colours through the whole brand. And then started putting together some sketches and designs, and then thought about the main core essential branding was going to be this kind of end graphic on the back, and this was made out of elastic, so you could hold things back here like t-shirts or whatever you want to do, just as a. And then what it was on the back of the pant, there was also, it was reflective, so you've got one side of the end and then the other side of the end going on there too. So that was a big part of the branding. And then sort of started printing elastic, sort of seeing how things were working, and things were, some were successful, some weren't. And I didn't want to use too much of this because it's kind of the name branding stuff. I wanted to kind of keep it more ambiguous. So, I started making little rings and trying out these out for deadlifting and stuff like that, which worked out great. So, and you just put your 4 fingers through there type of thing. So you can do that. And then printing out like a waistband type elastic that was reflective. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's walls running on that as well. And then, start playing around with more printed elastic that I wanted to do, sort of like this, where it was kind of like having the walls printed in a running motion as a pack, so that as you're stretching out the elastic, it kind of gives you the illusion of them running, like old school kind of movies and stuff. So I kind of like that. And then this was one of the braces which goes on your hand or the leg for the nunchucks. You can see it in the catalog or the website, which was awesome. So that's that. And then started going into building the Alpha's pant basically, which was an all black pant, which was 2 materials, and using that complete sort of the front, using that whole fang outline, which you'll be able to see a bit further on. But the point of it was sort of having 2 fabrics that go together that are natural versus synthetic, to have them functioning together, So that's what the idea was, and sort of giving you that little bit of compression in the pant as well. There you can see it more clearly where the 2 ends are a reflection of one another, which is the basis of the walls of the good and bad of yourself, so to speak. This is the Apex War Pant, which is made of the English hybrid American flag. And then, got some help with some friends of mine who work for painting and drawing for Marvel and stuff like that. So they helped me configure all the walls and drew out all the walls, and I started placing the names and the numbers on them as well. The whole numbers came up. Oh, also, I got like a mold of, sort of built the first head of the wolf and got this sent out as a 3D model and got hundreds and hundreds of these made. So I've been looking into sort of like making these into jewelry, and this is elasticated so it can go around your waist as well, but the way to wear it is to just hang it over your neck like that, as opposed to get in it yourself. So that was pretty cool. These are like just thousands of wolf heads here, which was awesome. So, and then went into sort of like the branding part was, this is pretty heavy. I mean, it was talking about the sort of people's pain and suffering, right, and the compassion part of it, and how your response or reaction is to when you see somebody who's been self-inflicting pain on themselves, And I thought there was just that sort of reaction to compassion, that I felt with somebody like that, and could relate to it in my own way, and not necessarily externally, but internally, and started building the characters' numerals on the jackets like that, like heavy stitched embroidery, which was just rigorously stitched and kind of looks aggressive in that manner, And then started giving the wolves their pack order as well. So whenever you see the numbers, the Roman numerals, they're coming at you in the pack order themselves. So enough is enough was one of the things that was kind of like a thin sort of label on elastic that you'd find inside the pan. So when you're washing it, there's sort of like that discovery part of it, and then and another relationship to this was sort of when you're looking at this aggressive sort of hand carving. You know, I was looking at the Down By Warriors and sort of saw the same relationship in the way that they were placed out too. So you know, a Down By Warriors showed up in this whole collection. So you know, I infused that into it. Started drawing the walls again. Started making like rings and stuff like that. Then sort of went to a 3D model of this ring, which was basically something that you'd wear like this, and you would kind of rock it like this. So you've got the 3D sort of wolf ring, and that was kind of an interesting perspective. And then sort of going into the other stuff, you know, going back to performance, you know, I wanted the whole thing to be performance based. So, you know, I looked at when I was printing the actual wolf on, you know, actually perforating some of the actual fabric for ventilation. And as I started doing that, I started coming up with sort of like that sort of perforation on the wolf. So as you wear this, it becomes more and more three-dimensional every time you wear it and wash it, you know, and it acts as ventilation. So, and then the back was just the main core graphic of the Coventry Wolves, and then the pack on top. So yeah, this is the little thing about talking about, you know, cutting edge, leading edge, and all that shit. It's just like, you know, I wanted to talk about sort of building a product that hasn't been seen before, and being on that bleeding edge part of it, where it's just like, you know, it may look familiar, but it's not, but it's actually something you haven't seen before. So, you know, that was kind of the angle of how the design was coming about. And then the concept of sort of like, you know, an army of sort of like these pants looking at you, and when they're sort of faced, when you're faced by them, they look like, you know, a series of teeth. So, you know, 100 pairs of pants coming at you would look like these amazing sort of animated like teeth that are coming towards you. I mean, that's the biggest thing we fear about a wolf, right? So, you know, in building that pan, you know, I sort of built it like this, and this sort of gave you the essence of those fangs and stuff like that. And, you know, going back to using some of the wolf heads as the ends here, as the cordings of the pans, and that was that. And then sort of that, you know, a graphite drawn sort of like pencil t-shirt, and just graphite drawing over it, the sketches of the wolves and stuff like that, you know, because I didn't want anything to be, I wanted somebody to kind of buy something and realize that, you know, it doesn't last forever, and that only that you knew what it was before what it is right now. So over time you're creating a relationship